Hey there, my name's Nicola Canton and I have a confession to make to you. I have 7 piano-type objects in my home. Today we're going to look at 6 of them and I'm going to rank them from worst to best. The only one I'm excluding is my acoustic. We're starting here in my office with this reject. This is a Yamaha PSR E333. I got this secondhand and I used it when I used to do like an intro to piano 4-week program for preschoolers where I traveled to people's homes and also to preschools to give that program. So I needed something portable. This is touch sensitive, so it does go louder or softer. That's really its main redeeming quality. It is not full-sized. The keys don't feel very like piano keys, and it is not weighted. So there is a little bit of a bounce behind the keys. It's not the worst I've ever experienced, but it's definitely not something that I would consider appropriate for a student to practice on. Let me give you a few chords so you can hear how it sounds. I don't have a pedal unit for it, so I can't demonstrate what that would sound like. But yeah, it's pretty basic. I'm gonna put this at number 2, which is surprising because it's one of the more expensive options on the list. More expensive than the next 2 that you'll see. This is the Kawai CA49. So Concert Artist Series Kawai piano. I don't hate it, but I don't love playing it, I gotta be honest. I didn't get to try this in person before buying it because it was height of pandemic time, so I did just have to go on online reviews. And to be honest, if I'd chosen in person, I think I would have picked a different Kawai model than this one, but it does serve its purpose. This Kawai acts as the secondary piano in my main teaching room where I teach, and so yeah, it works perfectly well. And I will say it's good even with the flaws that it has, that to have different types of pianos that you can play in different ways, I think is a great asset for students. So this one is more challenging because of the dynamics. And yes, I have adjusted the settings, but the particular touch, especially in the upper register, it's very easy to get a very harsh sound, which is my main complaint about it. It's not awful. It's absolutely fine. I think it works very well. I do kind of think it looks nice. Former teacher here called it my Elton John piano because of the white, but like I do think it looks nice in the space. It's a very nicely designed little model. It's just particularly the touch that bothers me. But I'll play you a few chords and let you judge for yourself. Absolutely not bad, just not my favorite to play personally. Next, coming in at number 3, is this Yamaha P105. The P something series has continued since then, so you won't really find a P105 so much anymore unless it's secondhand, but there's P25, P35, 55, I don't know. It keeps going up in numbers and there's usually a 5 involved at the end. This one is, I honestly had a big debate between this one and the one you've just seen at number 2, but I've given this one the edge because it's a workhorse. So it's not my favorite to play. It's all right. It's definitely functional. It makes a good practice instrument. I often recommend this to students, but I'll tell you this, it travels well. So this would be my choice of one to take somewhere. If I'm doing an event somewhere, playing for something, doing an event with students, this one is the most robust. The one you'll see next is a nicer sound, but less robust, less easy to travel with. So here's a few chords on this one. We keep this one in our waiting room, that's where we are right now, and there's normally headphones plugged in, so I don't often hear it out loud. But look, it's a reliable instrument and it served us very well, and it's one that I've had probably the second longest out of all these. The first worst one is the one that I've had the longest, besides my acoustic piano, but this one I've had the second longest, and it holds up really well. We're now in the second teaching room in my house. This is where the other teachers in my studio teach, and this is the secondary piano in here. So both rooms have 2 instruments in them. This is my Kawai ES110. This is around the same price point as like the Yamaha P series. They're very similar. They're sort of competitors with each other, I would say. You'll see I've ranked this higher, but I already mentioned that the Yamaha is more robust. So I recently actually had an issue with this piano. I transported it somewhere because I had to play for something, and the little pins inside the pedal plug, the like attachment for the pedal into the piano, there's these tiny little metal pins inside, and they got bent. And I didn't know what was going on. It was behaving very strangely, so I had to call out a technician, and he was like, oh yeah, this happens with these. So that was frustrating. And apparently the newer Yamaha like P series and everything have those. I haven't seen it in person, that's just what he said. So just be cautious when moving things about the tiny pins that may exist inside your pedal attachment plug. So it's not as robust and easy to transport as my Yamaha P105. I prefer the sound, and this is personal preference. This is just a general thing that I usually prefer a Kawai to a Yamaha. This video is brought to you by Vivid Practice. Keeping students accountable doesn't have to be complicated. VividPractice.com helps music teachers manage assignments effortlessly while encouraging smarter practice habits. With an intuitive teacher portal, progress tracking, and built-in messaging, you get all the tools that matter without the extra fuss. Designed by music teachers for music teachers. Sign up for free at vividpractice.com and simplify your studio today. Next, we've taken a huge jump in price and quality, and this is the Kawai Novus NV5. I believe the newer ones are called like 5S or something like that. This is the first version of the Novus pianos. So this is the NV5, which is imitating an upright. It has a real soundboard inside, so the playing experience is really good. This is the primary piano, the main piano that students would sit at in the second teaching room. So not the one I usually teach in, but the other one. Hence why I've put my second favorite piano in here. You'll see my top one in a second. You might be asking yourself why I put the digital piano that I prefer in the other teaching room, not my own, and it's just because of the space and what fits. So the Elton John piano has to stay in my room. But this is the NV5. It's a wonderful piano. I mean, if you can afford this, honestly, this or the NV10 we're about to look at, go for it. It's beautiful. It's lovely to play. Just can't recommend it enough. So this has gadgets and doodads. Honestly, the playing experience is enough to sell it to me, but it is great that it also has different instruments on this touch screen on the side here that you can't see. Drumming, backing track type things. There's like a drummer built in that you can play, and there's a metronome built in. Handy different things. I have a separate video about this, so we'll link that below. Okay, finally we're in my main teaching room and my main teaching piano. This is the Kawai Novus NV10. Again, I think there's an NV10S, but I don't know anything about that. I bought this before that existed. This is a beautiful instrument. I love it, and I have a separate video about it, so you can check that out. If you've watched my YouTube channel or other things, you will have seen me sitting in this exact spot very often. Why do I prefer it to the NV5? again, I have to put that down to personal preference. This one is imitating a grand piano, that one is imitating an upright piano. I had always played on uprights my whole life because there's not usually space for a grand piano in Irish homes, and I generally only played on grand pianos at exams and things like that and performances. However, once I tried this out, I was sold. I love the experience of playing on this. It just behaves itself. It just does exactly what I want it to do at all time. I feel like it was made for me or something. I mean, it wasn't really. It's just an excellent instrument. If you're trying to choose between the NV5 and the NV10, I have separate videos about them, but I would also suggest that you check out more in-depth reviews from technicians and piano salespeople who really understand every feature. I only experience them from a teacher's perspective and someone who plays for enjoyment. So I'm not going to know about every feature that might be relevant to you or what different people prefer in different instruments. I only know what I love and what my students experience, and the NV10 is the one for me. That's it. Those are the 6 digital pianos of sorts in my home. I've left out my acoustic because you just can't compare an acoustic, especially one that I've had since I was 15 years old, to these newer digital instruments. They're just not relevant to each other. But if you're trying to figure out different digital pianos and how they might fit into your life, I hope this was helpful.